Here.
Emily Zack.
Here.
Jennifer Deep.
Here.
Gary Dunlap.
Here.
Cheryl Hancock is, okay, I am here. Chris Lau.
Here.
And Rebecca Reber.
Thank you. With 6 of the 7 board members present, I declare a quorum. Approval of the agenda. I note that the agenda has been posted, distributed, and sent to the local media. With this in mind, are there any changes to this agenda? I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published.
So move.
Chris has moved. Anybody in second?
Second.
Gary has seconded to approve the agenda as published. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the agenda as published, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying no. The motion to approve the published agenda has passed. I don't have any public participation this evening, so I would like to go to the district administrator's report with Chris.
Yeah, well, I'm up here tonight, so here we go. I have a few things on my for my report this evening. The first thing is actually last Monday evening on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the 17th of January, I wanted to thank our Holmen High School Equity Committee and our Holmen High School Diverse Cultural Alliance, which is a group made up of our students, and Hope Restores. They hosted a very impactful discussion on diversity in the Fine Arts Center. It was a very well attended and lots of great discussion occurred. So thank you for putting that on. Then also, that on January 13th, our Holmen Business Association recognized our school district with the Community Appreciation Award. So I just wanted to take this time, and we have many of our staff here this evening, and just wanted to say they recognized our school district for all the hard work they've done in the past couple of years and recognize them through this award. So thank you to all of our staff for all the effort that they put forward each and every day for our students. And then our high school was actually featured also in the Department of Public Instruction, Connect Ed. It's a publication that comes out monthly with stories highlighting schools in the state of Wisconsin. And they were highlighted for their model store, the Bundled Up, that you had heard at a prior board meeting. So we want to thank Heather Bresky and our entrepreneurship class and students for all their work that they did with that. And I'm sure Ms. Hesselberg had a part in that too. So thank you for that. And with that, our DECA attended the District 1 Career Development Conference at UW Stout. Holmen had 32 students attend, with 62.5% of them being recognized for outstanding performance in their event areas. So they came home with all kinds of medals and place winners from that event. So once again, DECA has been doing a tremendous job, and we just look forward to seeing where they go this year through their competitions. So thank you.
And then Chris, you have police liaison report.
Oh, that's in your board packet for your review.
Okay.
In that.
Okay,
So
thank you.
yep.
And then on to recognitions and thank yous, the Sunshine Fund donation.
Yeah, so I'll go through these. We've had some very generous donors lately. We had a resident, Maggie Smith, that led an informal fundraiser to show that just for showing on Facebook to show community support for our staff. And her efforts led to $770 in donations in a Sunshine Fund. So we'll be dispersing that evenly throughout our buildings, and to be able to do some really fun, nice things for our staffs. And anything from, here's a coffee, get you through the day, to just whatever needs they have for at that time. Then we want to thank the Discover Green Bay for the organization's donation of $1,000 to our co-curricular program. And then we have two groups to recognize this evening, and I'm going to try and be a little briefer because we do have our communication specialist that's been doing an amazing job of recognizing folks through other avenues of communication and that. One is our National Board Certified Teachers. It takes quite a bit to earn your National Board certification. And we have 19 teachers employed in our school district with this high recognition of certification. So with this, I'd just like to mention their names tonight, and we'll be seeing and hearing more about them. Patty Abraham, Sue Osovich, Anne Marie Dahl, Tracy Dubkowski, Teresa Erickson, Franzini, Robin George, Ann Hagel, Jody Hoscheit, Erica Komeyer-Zenke, Deborah Lowenhagen, Jamie Meidel, Tim Ronis, Angela Simonson, Jerry Stoffer, Diana Stratton, and Lynn Wilson, who's with us tonight. So congratulations, and thank you for all the efforts you put forth to develop yourselves to help our students. And then coming up the week of February 7th, we'll be recognizing our counselors. We know they always work hard, but during this time of the pandemic, they've put their efforts forward and have been there for our students, not only for their academic planning and career planning, but also for all their mental health needs. So we'll be celebrating them that week coming up in February. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. On to reports of discussion, community fund, Boys and Girls Club report.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right. Well, thank you. So I'm Brett Gullickshire. I'm the director at the Skogan Boys and Girls Club, and joining me today is Emily Jensrud, our education director at the Skogan Boys and Girls Club. So I'm just going to give a brief kind of rundown of kind of what we've been doing over the last year and a half since our facility opened over at the Skogan Boys and Girls Club. And then Emily will talk a little bit about her program, our education program, and what the community fund has really done for our program. So just a little bit about our program at the Boys and Girls Club. For those of you that don't know, our program serves kindergarten through 12th grade. We do an after-school program, and we also do a summer program, and they've both been super successful this last year and a half. We're currently around 130 members a day now, about 70 kids, 70 middle school members and 70 elementary members that are coming over after school. So we're open on non-school days and early release days. We open up early, which is really great for parents working when there's non-school days and early release days. Obviously, within our facility, we have some community partners with the Holmen Area Community Center and then ACE Academy, which I know they're speaking after us. So it's a true collaboration within our building. And the things that we've been doing over the last year and a half. We've worked with the Holmen Police Department, the library, UW Basketball has held camps at our facility. Holmen Basketball has held camps at our facility. We hold the Holmen Rotary Club has their meetings, weekly meetings in our facility. So it's really truly a community building and facility. ACE Academy, I'm not going to talk too much. I know they're speaking right after this, but their students, we're an after-school program, so their students and teachers use the facility primarily during the day. So the building is used all day long. Students have really taken ownership of the building. We have a facilities director, and many of them are getting work experience working alongside him on a day-to-day basis. All of our program space is interchangeable. We share and collaborate throughout the facility, which is fantastic. With the Holmen School District, I can't say enough of Chris and her team, and Jill's here. They've been fantastic to work with. The success that we've had in this last year would not be possible without the support of the Holmen School District, so it's been amazing. We've worked with every department within the school district, I feel like, in the last year and a half, making contacts and just making sure we have opportunities for youth in this area. Some of the things that we've done this last year, we actually held the advanced academics course. Some kids came over and used our conference during the day, which was fantastic. The whole entire 8th grade class actually came over right before the holiday break and used the facility for a day to have just like an hour and a half to just see the club and have a fun day outside of school. High school business classes come and done tours. Honor Society students have come and volunteered to work with kids, and we've also held some basketball camps like I mentioned earlier. We're really focusing on leadership and employment of youth in this community, so we've started a junior staff program where kids can kind of work their way up and maybe eventually become staff within our facility, which is what it's all about. We have leadership programs and things that they can join with the Boys and Girls Club of America, and we just really want members to stay with us. So hopefully the kids that start with us when they're kindergartners, they go all the way until their 12th grade and work with us while they're in college. So that's really our goal, is to keep them with us and develop those relationships. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Emily Gendrud, and she's going to talk a little bit about our Sail to Success program. The one thing I will mention, this program has been phenomenal for our building, our facility. We actually are holding the State Boys and Girls Club conference in lacrosse in the fall, and this is going to be a program that we're going to try to model throughout the state. Just our relationship with the school district and how everything's worked and how successful it's been. Emily doesn't know yet, but she's going to probably be presenting at that as well, at that conference to kind of show off what we've been doing the last year and a half to all the Boys and Girls Clubs across the state. So.
Hello, I'm Emily Jensrud. The Sail to Success program offers tutoring services for any of our members or community members. Our teen population, we currently have 14 teens in the program, and we offer daily check-ins or one-on-one tutoring. The daily check-ins are exactly that. We have our enrichment assistants who will check in on the teens, see if they have any homework, studying, projects, late assignments that they want to work on. The one-on-one sessions are based more on their individual needs. Oftentimes it's just extra help in math or extra help in ELA. For our youth members, we currently have 39 youth, and we offer group sessions, and group sessions are based on their grade. We do kindergarten first together, second and third together, and then fourth and fifth together. Each of our youth members also get a one-on-one session each week for a half an hour, and those again are based on their individual needs. So currently we have, I know the slide says 51, but we had 2 more people enroll last week, so we have 53 members enrolled currently. We have a Power Hour and Brain Gain program that's embedded into our general program. The Power Hour, we've developed a curriculum for the 2021 and 2022 year that gives members just educational activities every single day. We also have our Summer Brain Gain program, which is, again, educational activities every single day. So then it helps with the summer learning loss. And so we have written the Summer of 2021 curriculum, and we're currently working on the Summer 2022 curriculum. We also were lucky enough to purchase iPads with Apple Pencils and keyboards. Currently, we use them pretty regularly throughout the week for our one-on-one sessions and our group sessions, and we're starting to implement the iPad usage into some weekly Power Hour activities, depending on the grade. Each day is a little bit different. A lot of that is kids will come in and do Prodigy for about a half an hour on the tablets, and then they get to use the tablets for like free time. All the apps are educational games, but it's still kind of nice for them to be able to choose. We are hoping to increase our teen population with offering ACT prep courses and career launch programs in the future. Like Brett said, over the first year, it's been a pretty successful program, and I am hoping to see continual growth. Thank you.
Well,
Do you have any questions?
I just want to, I usually don't talk, but that I'm here. I just want to take this opportunity to thank them for their partnership. It's been so pertinent, especially these last couple of years, to be able to provide our families and our students with what they need. So just thank you so much for not only helping us when we're in crisis, and you've stepped up and really done amazing things, but then to be able to build these programs on top of it. So thank you. But now I'll be quiet.
Anybody have any questions?
I was going to say, do you have contact information you can send out to maybe the school so we can get it to parents on the program?
Yeah.
I can get there.
Yep, thanks, John.
Anybody else?
I would like to say thank you very much for offering our students a safe place after school, during our early releases, and even on inclement weather days when things get called off, and all of a sudden you guys are called up. I know picking up both my kids there, the energy is always high in that place, and knowing how much my kids love the place, it's a magical spot that we have in our community. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
All right.
Next, we have the ACE Academy with Susie Holm, Lynn Wilson, and Matt Tagliaro.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
There we go. Oops. Hello, I'm Lynn Wilson, and I do the Project Bridge, which is based out of the ACE Academy. So I'm a transition program that has 18 to 21-year-old special ed students, and we focus a lot on bridging the gap between high school and once they turn 21 and age out to adulthood. We do a lot of transition, work experiences, and community outings. And this is our bus that we love very much, and we take it out in the community as much as we can. Some things that we do, we go to special festers. We really missed it last year. It is a great time right before Oktoberfest to be able to see all of our friends from other schools. Lots of districts come, and we just get to enjoy some of the rides and, of course, the carnival food. We went to Ferguson's Apple Orchard with Project Live, which is another transition program. Just a nice way to get out, see a bunch of different activities. We did the hayride, and we talked about, the different things that they grow there and things like that. So it's great for our kids just to be able to get together with some of the other students. Homecoming, we were so glad our homecoming parade was back this year. So we'd like to decorate up our bus. And we have students in a couple of the programs at ACE Academy that get together and we decorate the bus. And in the past, we've thrown out candy and stickers and all that good stuff, and we walk the whole parade with our students. We have done community outing where we volunteer in the community. We did bell ringing this year at the festival up here, up in Holmen. We did it 2 different times. We brought some students from one of the other classes who actually played their instruments the first part of our 2-hour shift. And then we brought a speaker and we sang. And every time someone came through the doors, we started singing a song. We have this student here that she actually had a Big Mac switch that she would hit, and it would speak for her that said, happy holidays and things like that. So very exciting to get them to interact. We did also go bowling. We've done that a few times. It's just nice to be able to get out. They all seem to enjoy bowling. And then, of course, pizza, which they all seem to really enjoy. We do adaptive PE. We have an adaptive PE teacher that works with us at least 3 days a week. One day, another day of the week, we try to do some kind of rec leisure. So most of our students went hiking at Perot State Park with another class. We do have a couple bikes that we use in the gyms at ACE Academy or at the Boys and Girls Club that we get to do laps, things like that. We went to UWL, did their amazing rock climbing, their flying squirrel. And then that new train, All Abilities Park, if you have not been there in La Crosse, it is amazing. And our students, it just fits. It's so perfect. They can, even ones in wheelchairs, they have things that they can do at the park. It is just amazing. We have some in-house work experiences that we have provided. We go over to the middle school every morning and we clean their tables in the cafeteria in between the breakfast and the lunches, which helps their custodial staff be able to do other activity or other things that they need to do. We also pick up all of the lunches for the ACE Academy students, the 3 different classes. We use our bus. So they've learned how to use the lift. We had to go up to the high school. We pretty much do an exchange with the carts, bring back the old one, pick up the new one, and then so they're learning how to work in this lovely cold weather and how our bus needs a lot of warming up to be able to function. Yes. We also have some students that go to Goodwill and do a work experience, the School to Work program there, which is a great program that they have there. In the past, we've had our Valentine dance. This year, we're pushing it back. Hopefully, we can still have it. It's a Valentine spring dance. We're looking at April 29th, and we're hoping that COVID numbers are down so we can host it. We invite about 14 different school districts to come. We have it at the high school up here. And we have a bunch of different programs that help. We've had the Family and Consumer Ed class has helped us make cookies in the past. We have the ag class that donates the popcorn. We have got a gift card from Quick Trip so we can purchase drinks and waters. So if you're available on that Friday morning, it is wonderful to have their friends come from the different schools, and we actually have had to move it to gym A and B, so we have so many more, classes coming that we had to have 2 gyms instead of 1. And then we have a company that we have an online presence, and then we have different products that we have in all of the schools, the 2 features, the Holmen, or the Boys and Girls Club, and we make paracord bracelets. We do some sort of Christmas ornament. This one here is our snowman family, and each of our buildings has greeting cards that we make. And we have a display in the features in West Salem and the features here in Holmen that we sell necklaces and the bracelets. And then we also did some ornaments of the paintbrush ornaments this year. And that's all for us. But our students have made, we have what's called a mask lanyard, so I'll demonstrate real quick. It holds your mask, so if you use the bathroom and you want a little break, you can, and they're all personalized with your names on them. That's one of the things that we sell on our website.
Thank you so much. Very good job. Thank you.
Any questions, sorry, before I let the other ACE class?
No question, but thank you. How thoughtful. Really nice. Thank you.
You're up. Hold yours back up.
I just had amazing. So you guys, we still making the cards then, and then how do we get a hold of them?
You actually, the card that came with your mask lanyard has the website.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You're up.
Oh, you're sitting there. Okay. All right. Hello.
Good evening. My name is Matt Pagliaro, and this is Susie Holm, and we oversee the 2 programs for at-risk students at ACE Academy. There's 2 alternative education programs there, and our work with those students is really to empower them to overcome the effects of trauma and mental health that they've experienced, and to help them build resilience. So that's who we are and what we do. So.
I think it's right over here. Is it right here?
I'm not seeing the. If you just press the down button. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. All right. My program is Risk to Resilience. It's alternative setting for students in grades 9 through 12. Most of those students are experiencing emotional and learning challenges that affect their quality and the quality of their lives on a daily basis. Typically, our students have been diagnosed as suffering from depression, anxiety, school phobia, or just plain school avoidance, and some self-harm behaviors. So these students are often described as emotionally fragile, and my students tend to keep everything inside. So you wouldn't know necessarily by looking at them that they're screaming for help kind of on the inside.
And the program that I oversee is called Community Connections, also for students in grades 9 through 12. But in reality, most of my students are usually 11th and 12th graders. They tend to be a little bit older. And they come to us because of a lot of different barriers to success that they've experienced. So things like truancy, struggling with emotional management, struggling with appropriate conduct, both in school and in the community, troubled relationships with adults and with peers, and a lot of oppositional behaviors. So my students are those that they externalize more of their behaviors. So 2 very different populations, but both in need of some help.
Absolutely. All right, so together, both of our classrooms, even though we have different rooms and our students are separated, they receive the same services. So Together, we provide individual online coursework. So students will work independently on a class if they only need, say, someone needs just history, and they're the only one that needs history, they might work on that. Otherwise, we do face-to-face classes. We have a nice low student-to-teacher ratio, which allows us to work on our academics, but when they're in crisis, it gives us the opportunity to pause on the academics and then try to figure out what's causing whatever's going on. So we do a lot of one-on-one, just talking and kind of working through and trying to build that resilience. It's definitely a safe and accepting setting for all students. I know sometimes when they come to us, they're a little nervous, but in the end, they feel very, very safe, which is very important.
And we also have 2 amazing educational assistants that work in both of our programs to provide some more one-on-one support that our students need. Okay, you got it. All right, so our mission as a program is we're really focused on the whole child. We try to develop positive relationships. That's really where it all starts with our students, is developing a safe and trusting relationship with an adult in the district to overcome some of those barriers. And so we focus a lot on social and emotional learning, but also have a strong focus on helping them with the academic needs they have, because so many of them come to us credit deficient and in need of that academic support to be successful.
So both of our programs, we try to find other opportunities along with the academics. And through these opportunities, our students can earn credit. So in Risk to Resilience, we work with Project Bridge. So Mrs. Wilson, when she was presenting and she was talking about other students that help, we're the students that help her students. We help decorate the bus for homecoming, and we help with the dance. My students, her students will pop into my room, and my students will talk to her students, and so it's really good for interacting. We also help create the bracelets and the cards or whatever other fabulous idea Mrs. Wilson has. We are there always to help her. The other thing, the second one, it's kind of it's a pilot program that I did this year. I'm not really sure what to call it. We're going to call it a job shadow / apprentice. So I've been working with my students as they get older, and in their junior year, I ask them, you know, we talk a lot about careers or what they want to do. What do you want to do after school, all of that. And so I've got 2 seniors this year that said one wanted to do cosmetology and one wanted to go into mortuary science. So what I did then at the end of last year is I got a hold of people in the area and the community to see if our students could have that experience. So these students did more than just like job shadow for a day. They went on a regular basis and they job shadowed. They got to do hands-on stuff, which was really important. And then from there, they presented their experiences and what they took from it. And it was a really good opportunity for them. And the cool part is that my juniors now this year are now like, oh, I want to do this next year. So just a plug, I've got a junior that wants to do forensic science. And so if we know anyone that's got forensic science contacts, that's what we're looking for. It's hard to find those around this area. But otherwise, the students do earn credit by doing all of that.
And then in the Community Connections program, a major focus of ours is to help prepare students for employment after graduation, to help develop some of those essential skills that they will need to be successful, be able to get a job, and then keep that job once they have it. And so we have a number of partnerships that we use to help students develop those skills. One is working with some nonprofits in the area. Over the past couple of years with COVID, that's really been at Clearwater Farm in Onalaska, where my students go and they help care for the animals and kind of help out with odd jobs and projects that they have just to develop those skills in employment. We also have partnered with the Boys and Girls Club, and I have one student right now that spends his mornings working with the custodian there, working on developing some skills and some experience. And then I also have a number of students that earn credit through work experience, jobs that they have outside of school, with some evaluations from their supervisors and some reflections. They can earn school credit for their work experience.
All right.
All right.
All you.
And then another opportunity that we have for students at ACE Academy is what we call the GED Option 2 program. Sometimes this is called GEDO 2. So the Department of the DPI basically has allowed some districts in the state to award academic credit for students who show proficiency in certain academic areas. And the way that they can show that proficiency is by passing the GED test in that area. And so students have an opportunity. Holmen is one of these districts that's approved to do this. And so students are able to, if they are credit deficient in a certain academic area, say math, they can prepare for and take the GED test in math down at Western, and then earn school credit that can be applied towards their transcript and towards their high school diploma. There are other requirements in the program as well, other than just passing the GED. They still have to, pass the civics test. They still have to do personal finance and some of those other requirements. So the students that are in this program spend their time at ACE Academy preparing for their exams, their GED, and then completing those other requirements to earn our district's basic skills diploma. And we've had pretty good success over the past couple of years with this program. We've had 9 students that have participated. Those that have participated, we have a 100% success rate passing the GED tests that they've taken. Now, sometimes it takes a couple of times to get a pass, but our students have passed all of the tests that they've attempted. And as a result, we've had 7 students that probably would not have otherwise graduated have earned a Holmen High School diploma. We have 1 enrolled this year that is preparing to earn her diploma. So it has been a good program and a good opportunity for students in this district.
All right. Is there any questions or anything we can answer?
How many students are enrolled in ACE Academy during a typical year?
Yeah, I gotta think.
Yeah.
I in my program right now, I have 10. And then, right now, we are interviewing and doing tours because it's semesters, so we might have some new students adding here in the next couple weeks.
And this year I have had 10, although they aren't all there now because I've had 2 students this year that have completed the GEDO program and have graduated. And so they're not always there at the same time, but that's usually what we're dealing with.
Anybody else have questions? I don't either. Thank you so much.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now Julie for the preliminary budget input variable estimate.
Hi, I'm just letting them clear out a little bit. Can't believe they don't want to stay for budget input variables. So
Must have heard it ahead of time.
I warned them, I'm like, get out.
It's an important
So,
one.
yeah, so good evening. I love hearing about the students, not so much about the budget input variables. But this is a recurring item. We do this once a year. It's a little bit late this year. We've had a lot of changes in the fall and different things that came forward, prioritized over this report. But each year, we share with the board assumptions that are being used in our 5-year forecast model for budgeting, and just explain why we use these numbers and One thing that's important to me that you know is I actually run many scenarios. These are initial forecasts, but especially during a legislative year where all spring we're hearing different bills coming forward and how it might impact education. We're typically running multiple scenarios to try to incorporate what might be come July 1, which is not the case right now so much because we'll be heading into the second year of the biennium for the 22-23 year. So these just give you an idea of what we're using in the 5-year forecast. So tonight I am presenting on that. So we'll start with contracted regular staff. So this is all of our hourly and salary regular staff. And the WERC, July 1st, 2022, CPIU, Consumer Price Index Urban, that's used for base wages when negotiating with unions, is 4.7%. And so normally we don't know this number yet when we bring this in November or December. We now actually do know this number for July 1. So 4.7% is the input variable for the 2023 or fiscal year 23, the first number there for regular contracted staff. That number is what can be negotiated up to that percentage and by the union. It does not mean that you have to negotiate that distribution, especially if your budget cannot afford to do so, but that is the CPIU for July 1st. Following that, I'm using 2.5% in each of the 4 years of the forecast. 2.5% might be conservative for next year because we continue to, it depends on how the next 11 months go. So the 12 months in 2022 and the economy will determine next July 1. And depending on the economy and how crazy it is right now, nobody knows what that number looks like. 2.5% is a number that we have settled on around there the last few years when the board has given base wage increases. It's also a number that historically would accommodate movement within salary matrices. As you know, a lot of that is being talked about currently as well, but that's why the 2.5% was chosen for the other 4 years in the model. For substitutes, this does not include, the next line item is substitutes. It does not include our contracted teacher subs or our contracted educational assistant subs because that's actually not a payroll item, that's an accounts payable item that comes below. So the substitutes we're talking about here are cooks, custodians, administrative assistants position, other positions that we hire substitutes for that are not educational assistants or teachers. They received an increase just last month in December. And so typically that's not an every single year increase. So we've entered it as an every other beginning in 2024 for the projection. Next up is FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare. That is a payroll expense. And 6.75% has been the annual rate for as long as I've been in school business management. And so we continue to forecast that out at 7.65%. The next one is the Wisconsin retirement system, a board portion or employer portion. WRS, and that just decreased from 6.75 to 6.5 January 1st. The tricky thing about WRS is they renew on January 1 and our fiscal year is July 1st. So anytime they switch, we have half a year in between the rates, but they just switched and dropped it 0.25% January 1st. So I have carried that through all the years of the forecast. For health insurance percentage, estimating at 4% for the next couple of years, followed by a 0.5% increase for each year. We do not have any utilization numbers on our group health plan yet this year. In February, we have our annual report to the board for the renewal for July 1st for the group plan, and so we hope to have some how are we trending numbers by February. Last year, we had a 4% decrease. The year before, we had a 4% increase. It all depends on our utilization and how we're trending that way when we get our renewal. So I'm hoping 4% is a reasonable number. We do look at plan design, If it's going to be predicted that it's going to come in higher than that. Last year, if you recall, we actually went out for bid for our insurances for employee benefits. And that is one reason why we got a 4% decline in rates, because they really wanted to keep our business. So 4% for health insurance for next year. And then dental, straight 2% across the board for dental insurance. We don't see as much variability in dental. Moving down in expenditure assumptions, we have general fund assumptions. So the first one there is purchase services. Like I was talking about earlier, we do contract with Teachers on Call for teacher and educational assistant substitutes. They also received an increased rate in December with all of our other substitutes, and so the same as above for substitutes every other year on the increase. One thing with Teachers on Call is that their rates could go up even if we don't increase our daily rate of pay for a teacher substitute, just because of their own overhead or benefits that they're paying because they're a separate employer. So we do have to keep an eye on that as well. But this is referring to if the district increased the daily rate for subs and trying to stay competitive with this very competitive pool for substitute teachers. So every other year on 2% for substitutes. And then we move down to property. This one, we just keep it out there to make sure you're aware of it. We have that $705,000 that was voter-approved referendum in the safety and security referendum in 2017. Those dollars sit in a sinking fund, and that is for the Briggs McHugh Road support for when the county and the village and town of Holland are ready to make some movement on that road change. So this is the district's contribution, and it's just held until that time. So I put it out there, wishful thinking that maybe by FY26 the project will be done. Sooner would be better, probably. So the next one is software services. This has to do with our Skyward accounting software. So all of our payroll, accounts payable, budget, all of it, human resources, goes through Skyward. We have 2 different platforms that we've been working on for many, many years. This actually came forward last year, but did not get implemented yet just because of everything else going on with pandemic. So it's on here again as an investment to migrate to their latest and single platform instead of 2 separate ones. So we are still using what's called point and click. Do you remember those words? Software for payroll, because that's our only option within Skyward. And so really wanted to get moving towards this newer interface, web design, Skyward, single platform, login, all of that stuff. So that initial investment's about $15,000 plus a small increase on the annual license for Skyward. Next up is the open enrollment transfer amount. So this is the dollar amount that's transferred to other districts or into Holmen based on the open enrolled students. This happens to be the expenditure item, and the percentage that is in there is directly out of statute and what is currently listed as estimates on DPI. So those are the increases that are projected for the next several years on the open enrollment transfer. To give you an idea, it's a little over $8,000 for a regular education student right now and a little over $13,000 for special education. And that is very much the same for private school voucher. And so it's an expenditure either to other public school districts in the state of Wisconsin for resident students that open enroll out, or for resident students that attend private schools and are eligible for private school voucher. Next, I'm going to jump down to utilities. Using 0.5% for gas and electricity for heat and other electricity, and 2% for water and sewer. One item that is not on here that we're keeping an eye on is propane fuel. We have been adding propane buses each year for the last many years, and the cost of propane is up quite a bit. And so keeping an eye on that. We still have many, many diesel buses as well. So from your own consumption for your automobiles that fuel is up. So be working with Dan Garrett, our new Director of Transportation, to try to help him manage the fuel expense budget for our fleet. So Next is property and liability insurance, estimated increase at 1%. Last year, we had a larger percent in this category for fiscal year '22, the one we're in right now, and that was due to our addition at the high school of 70,000 square feet, so we needed to accommodate insuring that property. And then we have about 3% for workers' comp. Workers' compensation is a rate that's based on our wages. So if our wages are going up, we're going to see an increase in our workers' compensation premium cost. So this is not specific to injury, because we're doing rather well in our experience mod for workers' comp right now, knock on wood. But it is a relationship to payroll, so. In Fund 27, pretty much the same as above, including the wages, and then for contracted teacher substitutes and EAs for teachers on call. The next one is Fund 50, which is our school nutrition fund. They have excess fund balance reserves and are expecting further increases this year. Everyone's eating for free, which means federal reimbursement, federal subsidies are higher than they have been in the past, and that's growing the fund balance in Fund 50. So working with Mr. Gaspar, our school nutrition director, we were talking about how some of that will be brought down a little bit and probably on capital equipment replacement. So we have 2 years left in the non-recurring technology referendum of $450,000 per year. So that authority will expire following the 23-24 school year, unless we go out and ask for a renewal on that referendum. That was a 5-year referendum at $450,000 per year. Now we move into revenue assumptions. For October 15th equalized property valuation, projecting 5% for the next 2 years, followed by 2.5%. 5% might be conservative. Our property valuation last year increased 11%. The state average was 7%. Out of our 11%, 7% was new housing, residential housing. So last month, Sarah from the Applied Population Laboratory shared with you enrollment data and housing development and build-out for currently approved plats. And that they're still working on more of that. So 5% might be conservative. If it comes in higher, it changes the variables, reduces the tax rate, things like that. So when we do debt modeling, PMA often uses like 2%, extremely conservative. We know that we're still building out in Holmen, so we're kind of going in the middle, and this would be about our 10-year average increase. So in regards to per pupil revenue limit, the legislature did not increase that for this year or next year, so we're leaving that flat. And then the per pupil categorical aid amount, they also did not increase, and so we're leaving that number flat at $742 per pupil. So that's a conservative estimate, kind of not planning to get more per student, and if that changes next year down in Madison, then the forecast will be updated to accommodate that. Investment income, I'm being hopeful that we have some level of increase in the next 2 years, so a very small increase on the percentage of investment income in each of the 5 years of the forecast. There's a number of things there that we do not qualify for here in Holmen that are some of the major revenue assumptions for other districts. And then, let's see. Next up is the corresponding Fund 10 levy revenue for the 2 years remaining on the technology referendum. So that was above in expenditures, and it's down below here for revenue. And then Fund 80. So the Boys and Girls Club presented this evening, and this is the support that the School District of Holmen has been providing for their Sales to Success program through our community Fund 80. And so for next year, projecting an additional, we've been doing $100,000. And then assuming that they have increased expenses as well with inflation and wages and things like that, just a modest increase year on year in the forecast, projecting that. Now, if the program grows and we need to look at something greater than this, we will backtrack and do that within the forecast model and the budget as well. So that is funds that have been levied the last two Novembers for Fund 80 and Sale to Success. And then lastly, on this page is the special education aidable cost reimbursement. Still quite highly subsidized. We did get an increase 2 years ago. The current rate is just under 30%. It doesn't move too much or too often, and so for that reason, I've carried the 29.79% through the forecast. The other pieces of information that were in your board drive were the enrollment pieces that also go into budget forecasting. Enrollment drives revenue, and so looking at both our third Friday September count from a couple months ago, as well as the 5-year trend model that was shared from the Applied Population Laboratory for forecasting for enrollment at this time. Any questions?
Any questions? None? Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can move on to the consent agenda item. For the consent agenda, the board has furnished with background materials or has discussed at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. Do any board members want to discuss any items to be pulled out of the consent agenda item and voted on separately? Okay. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll make the motion.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Anita and Chris?
Yep.
Thank you. The motion has been to approve the consent agenda items as presented. So, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion passes. Okay, thank you. Now we go on to board member reports and discussions. First, I will call upon board members in the order of the roll call. I would ask you to present any comments or committee reports you have. We're going to start with Ryan.
I'd like to thank Brett and Emily and the team from Project Bridge and ACE Academy for coming to present tonight. One thing that stuck out with ACE Academy is they talked about how students stick with them. And I think that's testament to how they create a safe environment for our students to come and learn, and they don't give up on them. It's a great program to have. And I'd like to congratulate as well all the nationally board certified teachers. It is quite a rigorous process, and they've been able to demonstrate high levels of really teaching proficiency within their content areas. I had a chance to attend the Amplifying Black Voices last Monday, and it was a really good conversation that was had, not only to watch the video, but then even within the small group. A great first step within our community to just confront racism as it exists. And then also last Monday, we had our the CELC meeting, and I wanted to just bring up, we're still discussing this Foundation Basics 111. We cleaned up some repetitive language and made some edits to the headers to make them more concise. Probably will come before us in March. And one thing, though, that I want to really point out, because I don't know if I did a really good job at it at the last meeting, is the Foundation Basics were created before the academic state standards were written. And so then it's a question of, okay, if we have those, then what's the purpose of these basic, the fundamental basics that we're outlining in this document? And so if we put them out there and then someone comes to us and says, like, oh, how are we doing this? There really isn't a process in place to really highlight those. And so just to consider that, because it's really a question of, do we just use the academic state standards as this is what's fundamental for our students to learn? Or do we really go out and we create this document, post that, and use that as kind of the goal for what we want to accomplish with our students? And then really we'd have both of them in tandem. So just kind of keep that in the mind as it's coming forward to us, probably in March. And the last thing is to thank all of our staff for everything they've gone through. And I have a challenge, or I just really strongly encourage parents and students in the district. Within the next 1 or 2 weeks, if you have a second, send a quick note to 1 or 2 of your teachers or staff members that work within the buildings and just say thank you, and be specific in terms of for greeting me in the morning, for making that lesson stick with me, for taking the extra time just to spend a few minutes with me at the end of the day. It really goes far when staff members hear from students and parents, and right now would be a great time for you to do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Emily?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody who came and spoke today. Those programs are really awesome for our district. The second semester just started, so it's pretty exciting. And I have to mention that the state tournament's coming up this Saturday at the Lacrosse Center for women's wrestling. It's the first ever, in history, which is pretty cool. And it's also the 50th anniversary of Title IX, so it's going to be a huge celebration of celebrating that. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Emily. Jennifer?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Equity Committee, Diverse Cultural Alliance, and Hope Restores for hosting the educational program Amplifying Black Voices. I was very disappointed I was unable to attend, but I have heard exceptional things about it, and I can't wait to attend future programs. And I also just want to give a big shout out to all of our educators who just received or already have received the National Board certification. I have heard it is a ton of work, and Holmen has exceptional teachers. So we thank you for your dedication to our district and our students.
And for Gary, what do you have?
Just to congratulate the teachers that were certified as well. It's a big accomplishment. We had a finance committee meeting tonight. We discussed some of the stuff we're going to talk about on Wednesday and looked at some policies. Other than that, stay warm and everybody get vaccinated.
Thanks, Gary. Anita?
Yeah, I attended the school board convention last week in Milwaukee, Tuesday through Friday. I'll give a more thorough report at our next meeting. I was involved in a car accident over the weekend, so I spent a lot of the time that I was going to prepare all my notes today on the convention, dealing with that. So just a few of the sessions I attended. The first one I went to was managing public participation at school board meetings. It was really interesting to see what other districts have done or are thinking of doing, or so we're not the lone wolves there. The legislative update, what trauma sensitivity looks like in a classroom, new developments in school law and free speech in schools, and also what students can offer at school board meetings, which was interesting because different districts have different degrees of student involvement and numbers of students and things, so very interesting, in addition to going to a general session and then networking at night with some, or later in the afternoon with some of the other districts around the state. Yeah, a lot of similarities, a lot of the same struggles in other districts that we are going through here, and learned an awful lot. Also, I attended the Diverse Culture Alliance that the district had on their website, and the Tribune had a thing out about it ahead of time, and then did a nice news story on it afterwards. But the Diverse Culture Alliance and Equity team, that Martin Luther King Day program, it was very informative and really an eye-opener. I think it's easy as a person not of color in this area and anywhere really in the community to think that there isn't an issue with racism, but to listen to the Amplifying Black Voices video of kids in this area and their personal experiences with it was really gut-wrenching. And just to think, what can we do as a community for racial biases that we might have, privilege that exists. We broke into discussion groups like Brian and like Brian said, and we spoke about our own experiences, what we've witnessed, how we can all work together and try to make a change. So very, very impactful night. And I hope the discussion with that continues. I wanted to also congratulate the National Board Certified teachers who put in all the extra hours, weekends, weeks, months, all the grueling work in order to be certified. We're so fortunate to have the staff that we have, and I just wanted to congratulate all of them. And then my favorite thing that I got at the convention was just a sticker that says, "Never miss the opportunity to say something great about your public school." So that's what I would like to remind everybody. That's all I have.
Thanks, Anita. And Chris?
I would just, I also attended the Martin Luther King Day diversity event, and just it was a great event, and I was just happy to see so many people from the community that came out too. It wasn't just us to the board and then people from the district. There was a lot of people that were from the community out and sharing their thoughts on our community and the diversity that is within it. I also just want to thank the board certified teachers. Just our district is a better place because of your extra efforts and your dedication to your profession. And I always like to see the presentations from the Project Live, the ACE Academy, and the Boys and Girls Club. Those are all really great resources for the kids in our district with the outreach that we provide to them. And then I too attended the WASB convention last week down in Milwaukee. I was the delegate for our district, so I get to go to a rather intense meeting, which was surprising, about the different legislative priorities of WASB and what they want to push forward for this year. Everything passed pretty much overwhelmingly that it was proposed, but like I said, there was a lot of good debate on a lot of the proposals that they're having. They're having safe harbor legislation, so children who are the victim of sexual abuse or sex trafficking can't be held to any prosecution, which it's something they want to obviously look out for the betterment of children. Some increases to funding for public education, obviously, is what was WASB looking for, and then some different discussion about National Association wording and being still affiliated with National School Board Association. There were some excellent breakout sessions. I attended several too. Mine were more geared toward, I guess, to my day work with process improvement and data. And they were, it's really interesting to see the different, I guess, planes in which different districts are operating on. Some of us have a lot of data, and some districts really struggle to just get baseline data. So it was interesting to hear the different perspectives. Just a couple of different takeaways I had, that equity is still is being championed across the state. I think we're off to a good start in terms of that, but there's still a long way to go. But it's on the tongues and on the minds of all the districts across the state. Like I just said, data was a big topic. Some districts really struggle with it. Just seeing that we have our trending and our dashboard and our comparables was shout out to Julie and her team and Dr. Mueller and your team, just had that available for us. One request I do have that I would like to see is they kept talking about the engagement of students in co-curriculars. I don't know if we have that metric in any of the information we get. We get so much from you guys, like you just said, that there's a lot of studies show that students that are involved in more than two or more co-curriculars tend to do better in school because they're more engaged. I don't know if that's something we can track or have available, but just in a thought, something that popped in my mind as something that looked pretty interesting, but I just don't remember seeing it. But doesn't mean it's a must-have or anything like that. And then the last thing is, Anita took me around to the vendors. Not one thing I'm a big fan of. One thing I did notice was that there were a lot of people there that were trying to sell food programs and transportation programs. And the thing that I came away with was that a real sense of pride in our district that we are able to provide those services with district staff at a very high level of professionalism and quality to all of our students. And that's something that we have in-house and is a real sense of pride for our district. So it was nice to sample their food, but I was like, we're good, but thank you for the samples. But it was very good. And I appreciate the opportunity of the board and the community for letting me and Anita attend this year. That was thank you. Appreciate it.
Could I just add one more thing? I have to say, when you talked about the vendors, when you go around, and so many of them asked me about John Daly, it was really cool. Oh, he's been in your district, and when I said that he had just retired, boy, he's really loved all over the state. So if you're watching, John, You're like an icon to so many people.
And then there was the hydroponic food thing that we had talked
Yes,
about, where
yeah.
they grow hydroponic lettuce, and they can grow like 100 pounds of lettuce. Anita was
Yeah.
telling me about it,
Yeah.
and I didn't see it, but it sounds like something that would be really kind of a cool, blend of our food services and our ag stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a fairly significant investment in those, but they seem pretty cool. So
Yeah, which
and
we do some of that already.
The lady who
Yeah.
ran that knew Mike
Yeah.
Gasper very well.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been
So-
eating the lettuce from our greenhouse when I go over to the high school for lunch during the day, so it's very fresh.
That's it for me. Yeah, sorry.
Great. Thank you. I just have kind of quite a few things, and I usually don't talk a lot, but I think I might. I just want to encourage, my husband attended a wrestling meet this weekend, just the little kid level. And, we usually attend the big kid events, but he just went to a little kid level. I'm just encouraging all the kids in the district to try something new. If you've never wrestled or never played basketball, we have the spring sports track coming up. Try it at any level. You don't have to start a sport from 3 or 4 years old. You can always jump in at 7th grade and try a new sport. It's a good thing to get into. I do want to tell everybody that the board, we do get a lot of emails. Stacy is very kind and sends out emails if there's a death, if one of the district employees or one of their family members, there's births. We don't ignore them, we read them, and just let everybody know that everybody's in our thoughts and prayers when we do read those. So just want to remind everybody that we do recognize that. Brian had a little challenge. I have a challenge for other people as well, to invite someone to apply in the school district to drive a bus, become a substitute teacher. Gary?
Good.
Anita?
Can I do
you
it?
guys are
I mean, I'd love to, but I can't.
Yeah, you'd be a good bus driver.
Still.
So I'm just, promoting the jobs in the district, if anybody needs one out there. Also, I know Mr. Engler needs assistance with co-curricular workers. You can reach out to the district website and find places to work or help out with co-curriculars. And then I also did attend the Diverse Cultural Alliance event, the equity committee that put on Amplifying Black Voices video was shown of children in La Crosse County that are affected by racism, and it was very sad, very eye-opening, and I was a little bit embarrassed of our county, of our area, that we, as adults or children, even our children, treat other children like that. So it was very eye-opening. So we have a lot of work to do. And then welcome Stacy Lockington as the new softball varsity coach. So congratulations, Stacy. And that's all I have. I know that we have a workshop coming up this Wednesday, I believe, at 7:30, and that will be virtual.
Yes.
Am I right with that? And then school board meeting on Valentine's Day. So if you guys want to bring me roses, I'll accept those, Gary, from you. February 28th, we also have a board meeting, March 14th, and the candidate forum is the 21st of March, sorry. And now we go into closed session, but I'm not sure how to do that.
I'll just read that. Okay. Yep. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby moves to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. In this case, considering compensation of a district employee. And then I'll do the roll call vote.
Thank you.
Let me scroll. Brian Wolpat?
Yes.
Jennifer Deek?
Yes.
Gary Dunlap?
Yes?
Shanita Jagodzinski, yes. Chris Lau?
Yep.
And Rebecca Reber.
Yep.
All right, we are now in closed session.
Stay warm.